Welcome, I'm Tyrone.
Grant. Hi.
And today Grant will be discussing and reviewing Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. And up next is Grant to Sousa for Alice in Wonderland.
Very excited.
Tell us a little bit about the film. I heard that changed a little bit. What's this all about?
Essentially, Alice is now 19 years old, which is 13 years after the last time she visited Wonderland, as it was. So Alice is a bit older. She now returns to Wonderland by accident. She's by following the hare. Tumbles down the rabbit hole, as it were, and finds herself back in Wonderland, which she kind of bumps into the old traditional characters that were there originally, and finds out that essentially they have been searching for her all this time, and need her. Well, they need Alice to slay the Jabberwocky. That's the whole premise. And in the beginning, they don't believe that this is the real Alice. They said they test her, and just one other bit of the plot that's obviously important is that Alice, they establish her character quite nicely up front, narrative-wise, that she is about to get married to someone that she clearly, like in a forced marriage situation.
In the real world.
In the real world, and it doesn't seem like she's very happy up there. So Wonderland, once again, is some form of an escape. And that is essentially the premise of the story.
Cool. Was it exciting? Was it riveting? You saw it in 3D?
I think everyone is, and who's seen it and cannot deny one simple fact that it's a visual treat. Absolutely. Visually.
Which is what you'd expect from Tim Burton.
Big Tim Burton fan. And I'll say this, that even there are moments, like I know that you are kind of biased towards Scorsese, and I'm kind of biased with Tim Burton, but I can honestly admit that there have been films that maybe narrative-wise haven't been the most outstanding.
So I'm thinking...
But for this, like, I personally believe he pulled it off for me. Like,
I'm thinking like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Tim Burton, yeah. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. As fantastical, is that the right word to use? As that. Once again, we spoke earlier about pushing the envelope with humour. He pushes the envelope visually and like performance-wise. He really does. I mean, using Johnny Depp, which is another point, who was for me outstanding, and definitely, I don't believe anybody else could have pulled off that character. Now, I know that people had issues with this film because he obviously tainted or played with the original, but his motivation and reasoning behind that was that he never saw this film as a sequel. Tim Burton never saw it as a sequel, and he never saw it as something that was reimagined. So look, he had his own take and perception on this. I'm not sure what it was, but from my side, I felt 10 years old again, and that for me was the important thing. I felt part of a journey, and never looked back.
So now I'm someone who hasn't seen the film, but I'm really hearing a lot of mixed reviews.
And I'm disappointed.
And more so than in Big Fish, which there were also mixed reviews. More so than Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. More so than those films, also because the scale of judgment is a lot higher. Because he's dealing with like a much higher budget. The film was $200 million, but the numbers show that the film is hugely successful. Look, it's kids who go watch films mostly.
Yeah.
And they obviously...
Although I think with the advent of 3D, that's changing.
And it's obviously allowing grosses to go higher
yeah.
as well. But I think the majority is still kids. I'm not saying adults don't go, but they could make up 90% of a film like this.
Yeah.
And there's enough kids to go watch it. And obviously there's not many other films maybe to go see in 3D, so they go and see it. But I don't think they'd be keep telling their friends about it or keep going back.
Yeah.
I think the kids love it. I don't know, were there kids in your cinema who loved it?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously Tim Burton, being Tim Burton, might have scared a few kids here and there, because obviously the hyper-realism that he does so well came through. You know, if you watch Nightmare Before Christmas, I don't think that film was like necessarily just for kids. Like, I think it would have scared a living hell out of certain kids.
I'm not saying it's a kids' film. I'm just saying the numbers and the success.
Kids went to yes, it attracted children, absolutely, 100%. But it also attracted adults, and I think certain.
I mean, Alice in Wonderland was a story for kids.
Yes, no,
like the target market, but I mean, obviously adults enjoyed it.
I think even the cartoon adults loved and watched and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it was a family movie. I'll say it's a family movie, and because of that, obviously, children being the cinema goers, that was the reason for its success.
And what is it that is making people I speak to and read about in reviews not love this film?
Apparently, a number of elements. One, Alice herself, now being whatever this age, isn't as intriguing.
Look,
B. Sorry, I just want to give you all the points that I've heard. Another one, the fact that she's now going to slay a Jabberwocky was very out of her bubble or realm or character, like from the original Alice. Like this, this sort of hero or whatever you want to call it, people have problems with. But it's a very small part of the film. I don't understand how people can be so obsessed.
Look, I'm not thinking that these little elements are dictating people not liking it. I think as a whole.
No, that's honestly. I'm messing with the classic, the story.
Yes, but a lot of people that I'm hearing from are specifically saying as a movie, it didn't succeed. Like, because it's not coming from only Alice in Wonderland fans. A lot of people aren't judging it as Alice in Wonderland. They're just saying as a film. And they've said that about Big Fish. There were people who didn't like Big Fish. There were people who didn't like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Personally, I didn't love Big Fish either.
I got to like it. And it's going to veer into our territory of Shutter Island ending. I think it's a film that you can pick up anywhere and just enjoy. If it's on television, Big Fish, you pick it up in the middle, you enjoy it. I think
the characters were outstanding. Visually, like the blend of CG and real was amazing. The one thing I will say, from my perspective, and we'll go back to your point, sorry, is that it was not, and we discussed this earlier, it was not made for 3D, it was made with 3D in mind. Okay. Just so for people that love Avatar's 3D and all that, this film isn't as outrageous in terms of the layers and intent with regards to the way it was filmed 3D wise. Okay. There are certain scenes that pop in my mind, but they weren't outstanding.
Did you have preconceived notions before? Did you read these reviews?
No, like I said, I try not to have preconceived. Like I try. That's why I did this.
Now you're aware that this film specifically hasn't been
disappointed with the critics. I don't understand. Like some people have said that the original author would be right,
but it's not even like it's mixed. There's a lot of
it's majority. I think. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes, majority of the critics have slated it. My point is, I was disappointed in the reactions to this film, but you know what? The box office spoke, and
did you love it?
I loved it. I felt like I said, 10 years old again. It was a form of for me, like we were saying the other day. Yes, we watch films to be entertained. What entertains you? For me,
I mean, there have to be people who love it, like you said.
Escapism. You go there, and for 90 minutes, you escape into this world of tumbling down the rabbit hole. We all know the story.
Was it ever boring?
No, I don't think so at all. And just so you're aware, as far as I know, Tim Burton wasn't a huge fan of the original because he never felt that there was a connection with the characters. He just felt like you were meeting one character, meeting another character, but there wasn't enough of like a bond or whatever. So for this, he made more of a story connection with the characters, and I think that came across quite well. And maybe for that reason, because of that, he didn't pay this homage to the original that people expected it to be. Maybe people had expectations that they shouldn't have had. That's my ultimate outcome.
So if someone doesn't know about the literature, good chance they're going to love the film.
Sure, I think this film was made for a new generation. So the audience has spoken for like 570 million.
Yeah, already, and it's still going, so it's...
So for the new age, you know what? Sorry.
Cool, thanks. Well, I'm excited to see it now since I watched that review.
Experience that
Cool.
review.
Oh, great one.